What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, August 17th, 2026, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 1500 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Iran and from Europe. But before I get into all that, I want to just share some very serious information about our nuclear forces. So yesterday, Sunday, all day, we had encrypted data being transmitted on the primary U.S. nuclear war frequency. It started around Sunday afternoon and it lasted all the way through this morning. So here's a clip of that. So typically when they transmit this type of data for such a long period of time, it's usually right before some kind of big strike or some kind of big event. Historically, since I've been covering breaking news for many years now, anytime I hear this type of data, it's usually a couple of days or hours before some kind of big event. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Also, last week on Wednesday, we had a nuclear war exercise that involved the transmitting of high priority nuclear codes. So something is definitely going on. And Bloomberg is reporting this afternoon that a Greek tanker carrying Russian oil was attacked in the Black Sea after loading at the Caspian Pipeline Consortium. The Greek tanker Skiros was attacked in the Black Sea after loading Russian origin oil at CPC terminal near Novorossiysk. According to Bloomberg, the vessel, operated by a Greek company, has a capacity of approximately 1 million barrels of oil. No crew members were injured in the attack, and no oil spill or marine pollution was reported. So maybe Ukraine probably struck this tanker. And Trump was speaking just a few moments ago about Iran. He had a press conference in the Oval Office. He said that the U.S. is not seeking an extension of the Memorandum of Understanding with Iran. He said that he did not expect Iran to agree to the kind of deal he believes is necessary. Okay, so finally Trump realizes you're not going to make a deal with Iran. Okay, he's finally getting it through his head that this is not going to happen. There's not going to be any peace deal. Okay, but he said that he is not seeking an extension of the ceasefire with Iran. He also said that Iran is in big trouble. Their country is a mess. Their military is totally defeated. He also said that he likes the idea of declaring the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory, and he reiterated that the U.S. controls the Strait of Hormuz, which obviously is not true, because if we did control the Strait of Hormuz, then oil would be flowing through it. He also said that the strait is open and the oil prices are coming down, and they will continue to come down unless we decide to do something far more drastic than we are doing. Obviously, what he's saying is not true. Oil prices are not coming down. The strait is not open, and it sounds like he's preparing to do something. We're also hearing some breaking news this afternoon that Iran seized a UAE-owned oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, and the IRGC from Iran denied Trump's claim that Washington is holding back-channel talks with Iran. Speaking to local Iranian media on Monday, IRGC spokesperson Brigadier General Hossein Mahebi made it clear that there are no talks whatsoever between IRGC officials and the U.S. There is no dialogue taking place between IRGC officials and Americans, Mahebi said, describing Trump's claim as merely fantasies caused by the delusions and nightmares resulting from defeat and desperation in the war of aggression against Iran. Wow. So Iran has humiliated Trump really badly. And the U.S. has used up half of its Tomahawk missile reserves within about 18 months. And the number of Patriot missiles in U.S. Army warehouses has dropped to below 800. Wow, below 800 Patriot missiles. This is being reported by the Sunday Times. And here you can actually see a tally of some of our critical missiles that were used up in the Iran war. So here you can see the PAC-3 Patriot missiles, 1,571 missiles used against Iran, only 759 left. The THAAD missiles, which are missile interceptors for long-range missiles, we used 200 of them, and 252 are still in stockpile. Tomahawk missiles, 1,000 used and 2,000 still stockpiled, so a third of our Tomahawk missiles expended. And precision strike missiles, which are the ATACMS missiles, we used, looks like 2/3 of them, only 20 to 50 left. Wow, really bad. And stocks of crude oil in the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve fell by about 5.3 million barrels to 293.4 million barrels last week, the lowest since 1982. Wow, very bad. And Trump expressed satisfaction with the signing of the Mecca Defense Agreement with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. He assessed that this is an important first step towards peace in the Middle East. Wow, totally insane. So if you guys are not aware, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan signed a mutual defense pact where an attack on one is an attack on all. Okay, and Trump is saying that that was actually good. So very interesting. And Kushner met with Netanyahu, and sources reported that the meeting was lengthy, in-depth, and very productive. Now, Kushner is on Trump's Board of Peace. So Kushner went to meet with Netanyahu to basically pressure him into some kind of a peace deal. We know that Trump has always wanted to make the deal of the century, okay, a Mideast peace deal, and that's what he wants to do. And 2 Iranian Hadid 110 drones attacked the building of the head of the Kurdistan region, Masroor Barzani, as well as the residence of the head of intelligence in the city of Erbil. So those were the 2 drones that hit northern Iraq a few days ago. Looks like they targeted the head of the Kurdistan government as well as the head of the intelligence there. The Iranians did. And the U.S. Navy missile destroyer, the USS Benfold, lost all power for a period of 4 days following a generator failure in late July. The crew of approximately 300 had no functioning toilets, air conditioning, kitchen, or other systems supporting operations on board. The ship drifted until tugboats towed it to Subic Bay in the Philippines, where the malfunction was repaired. So very interesting. I'm surprised they didn't have another generator to run off of. That's really strange. And Trump's approval rating hit 33% in the latest Economist YouGov poll, a new low across both of his terms, with 62% disapproving and 50% strongly disapproving. Only 22% rated the economy as good, and 65% said the country is on the wrong track. The Iran war and gas prices around $4 a gallon are cited as the primary drivers. Wow. And Trump announced yesterday that he instructed the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to significantly limit U.S. military exercises with South Korea. Trump cited very good relations with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and the fact that Seoul rejected his request for U.S. assistance in an operation targeting Iran. And here you can actually read his post to social media about it for yourself. He said, "Based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, I am not happy with the fact that the U.S. has long ago agreed to participate in joint military exercises with South Korea. These exercises are not only costly, with much of these costs paid for by the U.S., but send a signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile to a country that, as long as Trump has been president, has been unthreatening and respectful." Wow. Totally insane. Totally insane. And the spokesperson of NATO's Supreme Headquarters, Allied Powers Europe, U.S. Army Colonel Martin O'Donnell, stated Sunday that the drone that violated Romanian airspace and was subsequently shot down was likely a Russian drone. The Moldovan Ministry of Defense reported that it was a Shahed-type drone. And right now, this afternoon, Moldova's General Inspectorate of Police issued a statement reporting that they are responding to a possible explosion outside the village of Talmaza, roughly 13 miles from the border with Ukraine, likely caused by the impact of a Russian cruise missile that was detected earlier entering Moldovan airspace from the direction of Ukraine. So Russia's running wild. They bombed Poland. They're sending drones into Latvia that had to be shot down. They're sending drones into Romania, now Moldova. Okay, Russia is testing the limits, and NATO is not doing anything about it. So as a result, Russia will probably invade or attack NATO countries in the very near future. And speaking of which, Russia has transferred the frigate Admiral Kasatonov from the Northern Fleet's area of operations to the Baltic Sea. Also, a few days earlier, the destroyer Admiral Levchenko also arrived in the Baltics. Okay, so 2 Russian naval warships moved to the Baltic Sea in the last week. That's an indication that they're about to do something. Okay, and these are frigates and destroyers, so they carry land attack missiles, meaning they can strike places like Lithuania, Poland, Latvia, Estonia from the Baltic Sea with those ships. And Russia is creating a network of bases for their long-range drones, which could pose a threat to Poland and Eastern European countries like Romania, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. According to journalists, Russia is creating at least 10 new bases with launch platforms. Some of them are already being used for attacks on Ukraine. So here you can see a map of where these new bases are located. You can see a lot of them close to Belarus, and so they can easily reach the Eastern European countries here, okay? And Defense News reports that U.S.-Ukraine intelligence cooperation has returned to a high level after the relationship was disrupted in early 2025. Senator Mark Warner said the intelligence relationship has improved, while other lawmakers cited a connection between Ukraine's recent battlefield successes and renewed access to U.S. intelligence. The cooperation is particularly significant for Ukraine's expanding long-range strike campaign. U.S. intelligence reportedly contributes to targeting packages for strikes against Russian forces in Ukraine and energy infrastructure inside of Russia, while Ukraine continues to provide intelligence to Washington. Wow. Okay, so this is major breaking news. The U.S. Is providing intelligence to Ukraine to strike deep inside of Russia. How do you think Ukraine is able to pick out these targets that are so far away? Ukraine doesn't have their own satellites, so somebody's got to give the information to the Ukrainians. Somebody's got to give them the actual coordinates. I doubt that Ukraine is just using Google Earth, okay? They're using either European and or U.S. satellites to conduct these attacks. And last week, Russia accused the U.S. of helping Ukraine strike places like Moscow and St. Petersburg. In total, the Telegraph identified at least 59 new launch sites. Some of these bases were created based on converted military facilities and civilian airports, while the rest are located directly in rural areas. So up to 60 launch sites close to Eastern Europe, close to the eastern members of NATO, inside of Russia, for launching drones. Okay, that is a red flag that Russia's about to do something. And Poland has tightened entry rules into the country. According to the new regulation of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, citizens of Georgia, Colombia, and Venezuela must now have a visa to cross the border of the Republic of Poland. And the Ukrainian company Firepoint released footage showing the launch of their Flamingo missile. This is like the Ukrainian Tomahawk missile. Has a very long range, can carry a massive warhead. And the Ukrainians claim that in recent days they attacked facilities in Crimea from which Russia launches Onyx and Zircon missiles. So very interesting. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on tonight with more breaking news. And in the meantime, check out my 24/7 live stream. Sometimes if you just search my name, NYPrepper, in YouTube, my live stream will not come up. So what you actually have to do is you have to click on my logo. If you're watching from your telephone, if you go and open the YouTube app and you just search NYPrepper, what it'll do is it'll take you to my latest videos, but it won't actually show you my live stream, okay? So what you have to do is you'll see my little logo and it'll have a red halo around it, like a red ring around the logo. And you just click right on my logo and it'll open up my live stream. It's really weird how YouTube's doing that now. So a lot of people don't even know that my 24/7 stream is actually running, okay? But something is about to go down. We had that data transmitted yesterday all day. Trump saying that they're not going to extend the peace deal. So get prepared, and I will be back later on tonight with a live update and live coverage. And until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.